Hey guys, the Sectional Violence here. Yeah, so it's been a bit, I know, I apologize. But let's get right into Arrows FC. Yeah, it's not been a great start to the year. But it is what it is. Let's just get back on track here. Um, I don't know what I was going off of there, but 1 second. So, we have,
Did you know
fuck off. Hugo Gualon versus Frank Martin. Now, if I could use uh, something, um, if I could go off of the weigh-ins. So Frank Martin is that guy, and Mr. Hugo is the guy on the left. Frank is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so you got to be careful about that. Um, he's not a full-time fighter like my guy over here, Hugo. The difference I think here will be the wrestling of Hugo, but I wouldn't put this at. Let's see what the odds are at. What's it reference perform? See what the odds are at with this fight. Let's see. Come on, load. Okay. So Hugo, yeah, he's a huge favorite. I can't do much with that. Like over negative 400, I can't do much with that. The thing with that is I do think he's going to win. If he was around negative 2, negative 300, I can understand, but I don't think he's that big of a favorite. Yeah, is it worth a sprinkle on the dog? No, but if you got money, then yeah. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to say, Hugo gets it by decision. Maybe even finish in the second round. I don't know. It depends on how game this guy is. I believe he is game. Therefore, I do think he'll take it to a decision. But it all depends. Hugo is tough, man. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Next up we have Elvis Thapa versus Kenzo Soares Silva. Now, I can't even begin to explain how much I do not want to bet on this fight. This fight for me is so hard to predict because one, I have no film to work off of, and two, I can't tell how legit either of them are. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the guy has a Dream Chasers tattoo on him, and that's not a good sign. I can't even deal with that, man. Negative 600 favorite. Man, we got to go on the dog just for the sake of it, man. I'm not playing around with that, man. Like it's just, you know, like this is how much betting on his opponents will get you. Yeah, like you put 50, you get back 250. I'm not playing around with that. I'm gonna take that plus 500, and I'm gonna run with that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna take the dog here. And we're probably gonna look stupid, probably. But I don't know because I have no film. So unless you guys got film on this guy, I don't. So moving on here. Next up we got Zebo, our boy. So Zebo is a very, very, very athletic man. He is super, super strong. Some of the best takedowns I've seen. Um, really, really explosive. Keeps his explosivity all 3 rounds. Does tend to fade, but I don't think it's a problem. He trains at a good gym. The thing with this is he's fighting a guy who can strike a bit, I believe, and he isn't terrible on the ground. But I just don't think he'll be good enough to deal with the pressure of Zebo. I got Zebo by decision. He doesn't usually finish fights unless they're bad. So I'm gonna go with Zebo by decision. Um, Again, with these odds, there's not much you could do with this, but yeah, like, it'd probably be a more confident prediction than a lock, but whatever. Odds are showing him as a lock. Moving on, we have yeah, this is when it gets a little more interesting. We have two strikers. Believe it or not, one of them is a striker. A really good striker. The other guy, I think he's a good striker, but he doesn't look like he's in great shape. Not only that, but his fighting style wasn't too, exciting to watch. And I don't believe he's going to win this one. I believe Kamayo is a good safe pick here. I believe he gets this down in 1 or 2 rounds, depending on how tough Mr. Mikal is. But yeah, we'll see. Kameo is a good prediction though. Um, let's see the records. Let's show them the records just for the. So we have 3-2, or no, sorry, 1-0 versus 1-1. I'm gonna take the 1-0 guy. Moving on. We got Kareem Gaji versus Amari Diedrich. Now, Kareem has faced a lot of guys in his career. He's been KO'd by Cedric Doucoumbe. He hasn't had the greatest career, 3-2 in MMA. The guy, he's not fighting a guy who has a much better record either, 2-1. So Amari Diedrich definitely his back is against the wall here. I do think he'll edge this fight out though, being the far superior striker, and I do think he could even get a finish in this spot. I'm gonna go with Amari Diedrich here. Yeah, him and I think Freddie Kamayo are gonna cruise. Let's see what the odds are here. If you can even parlay them, is it even worth it? Yeah, see, like you can parlay these, and these would totally be worth it. Like, I mean, you get negative 175, and I can play that. I'd play that over than playing some of these. But yeah, moving on, guys. These are going to be a striking contest. Don't expect to see any grappling in these two fights. But yeah, moving on. This is going to be a grappler versus striker matchup. Sia Miri versus Fabiola Pedroni. Fabiola Pedroni is a great grappler in my opinion. She's 4-0 for a reason. Not only because she got fed, I don't know if she got fed cans, but the girls she's fighting are definitely on her level. 7-7, 1-0 isn't bad. 3-2 is great, and 0-1. So that's not a great pro career, but she does have great grappling, and I do think that is going to be a problem in this fight, fighting a girl who has primarily just striking and is very early into her career. Um, I do think Fabiola is going to win a decision, either that or get a submission, one of the two. She is a very, very dangerous fighter when she gets it to the ground. I do think she is going to win this fight. But Miri is very dangerous on the feet, so do got to watch out for that as well. But yeah, that'll be a fun one. Let's see the face off. It's an interesting one, but I do think she's going to take the edge, even though she is cuter. Moving on. We have Tekna versus a girl who I think a lot of the people are sleeping on, Levy Steedman. Yes, her record isn't great, and I do think she isn't good, but at the same time, she does have good striking, in my opinion. Good eyes. She doesn't have great takedown defense or jiu-jitsu, but she trains out of a decent gym. I'm gonna have to go with. I don't know, because Takana, although she doesn't have great jiu-jitsu defense, she doesn't really have to worry about that in this fight. And she took Ivana Petrovic to the third round. So I will have to give it to Takana, but I don't like these odds. I really hate these odds. Um, yeah, this is a spot here. I'm not gonna be. Oh my God, they have Pedroni as a dog. I'm gonna be taking that all day. Oh my goodness. And then we have Tekena, yeah, with Steedman. I can't do much with that. Negative 400 isn't great odds to play with. So I'm gonna have to stick with Tekena, but not not over like I'm confident, but I'm not overly confident. Just because can mix up the striking and the grappling if she needs to. And Tekna is dangerous. She has dangerous power, and I think she could be a problem here. But she does got to be on her P's and Q's because she's fighting a decent striker as well. And yeah, moving on, we have Powwow Biernet versus Fakeha Huchan. This is probably the matchup I'm one of the most excited to see. We have a really good striker from KSW who has pretty good takedown defense, fighting a guy who has pretty good takedowns. Not great off the fence, but in the open mat, he has some good takedowns. Um, I do believe the age will be the difference in this fight. How old is Fake Hill? He is 35 years old, so he's still somewhat in his prime. But I'm gonna have to go with the young gun here in Powell Bjernet, 4-0. I believe he is a 4-0 for a reason. He is very, very, very dangerous on the feet, and yeah, I think he's going to run through Fake Hal on the feet, and I think he's going to get a first round finish. The odds are close. I don't get it. Why? I think it's because of the takedown threat, but I'm going to have to go with Powwow just because of how dangerous he is. Moving on, we have Alexander McCall versus Baghi Hamsudanov. I believe he is a very, very dangerous prospect. I think he's my male prospect of the year last year, but I just don't think this is a fight you want to be putting all your chips on Baghi. Because Baghi, yeah, he should be the superior everywhere, but Alexander's dangerous on the feet. And he has good footwork, which makes it hard to get on his hips. 9-0 for a reason. I'm going to go with obviously Baki, but I can't put the chalk on him here. So please mind your P's and Q's with Baki here and understand that this is one of his hardest fights. And he still is relatively unproven in a lot of areas. And yeah, this is a good fight though. Um, Definitely looking forward to this one. I'll show you the weigh-ins and the face-offs. Where is it, Mr. Baki? It's a good matchup, man. Like I said, you don't want to put too much on Baki. It's a risky spot. Um, I think we're moving on though. Let's move on. So the co-main event of the evening, we have Gilis Udela versus Amin Yayoub. Amin Yayoub, man, he is not consistent, but he is always there to give you issues in a decision. He's very, very tougher than for his own good, and I think that's is going to be a problem here. And he's very hittable. Jalise Odelia also has a problem with being easily hittable, but also not being hittable at the same time, if that makes sense. Like he keeps his chin high, but he also knows how to, get out of range. I'm gonna go with Jalise just because of I like his striking. I like his striking, but the problem here is the takedowns. He is very, very susceptible to takedowns. And if Aminu Yub can just even understand that for a second and just doesn't ignores his ego and takes him down and drowns him, I believe Amin should be able to win this. But let's see what the odds are. Yeah, Ayub's a big favorite. I can get why he has dual threats. I'm gonna go with him in Ayub just because of the being two threats, but Gittalis is definitely a problem. And I don't want to take him lightly here, and I will not be taking that chalk on Ayub. So, but who knows? Maybe I might. I never know. You never know. Moving on to the main event of the evening, my male Ares FC Fighter of the Year, Abdul Abdurgrimov versus Rafael Harataik. Now, Rafael is a very big man. Used to fight in ACA. He has some decent jiu-jitsu. Very experienced guy. He's faced a lot of guys in his career. Um, but at the same time, like he lost to Dricus Duplessis, Okmadov. He's been around. So I do think the fact that Abdul is so slick on the ground will be to his advantage. But at the same time, he's fighting a guy who's very, very experienced and doesn't lose too often. I'm gonna go with Abdul, but there is a world where he can't get him down and he is having issues with him on the feet. Now, if I can look at his record here, he doesn't have too many finishes on the feet, but he is there. You know what I mean? So, like, he can be a problem, and he could get the finish, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna go with Abdul here. I'm very confident in him, but at the same time, things can happen, and I would not be surprised if Rafael pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Um, but yeah, let me get into my top five most confident, or a recap quick, and then my top five most confident. So nice recap. We got Hugo Guillon by unanimous decision. I have uh, Canzo Soares Silva by unanimous decision. We have Zebo by unanimous decision. We have Kamayo by first round TKO. We have Deirdre by second round TKO. We have Pedroni by unanimous decision. We have Tekina by unanimous decision. We have Powell Biernet by first round TKO. We have Hamza Sudanov by unanimous decision. We have Ayu by split decision, and then we have Abdul Regimov by first round TKO, I guess. I don't know. This is a fight where I'm hoping he finishes him early, and I think he should, but at the same time, this guy's experienced, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has to, you know, out grapple him for the whole distance. But I've never really had, I don't think he's had to see the distance too many times. Let's see. Yeah, round one, round one, round one. Like all these are finishes are all round one. So it's hard to like I mean he did take that's a really good win there. So I'm gonna take that. Hussein Sawali is a very dangerous striker, so if he can take him to a split decision, I like that. I like that experience for him here. The only issue is Jabra is a welterweight, so Rafal is a big guy, and the fact that he's testing himself against a guy this size is ballsy, but I do think he's good enough to win. So yeah, dual Grima by first round TKO. My most confident predictions. Let's go. I'm gonna go Freddie Kamayo at number one. I just really like him in this freaking. I like him in this spot a lot. Number two, I would have to say, God, I'd have to say Abdul. Number two, and then number three, I- I'm gonna go. Maybe Deirdre. I like Deirdre a lot in the spot. Um, Number three or number four, sorry, I think would be Hugo and Baki, and number five would have to be. I'm gonna have to go Tekina. I like Tekina in this spot, but like at the same time, it's not a lock. So and Jordan Zebo, Tekina and Jordan Zebo. So yeah, this is an interesting card. Definitely not a lot of spots here to like hammer. If you're gonna play this card, play it relatively light. Um, yeah, really looking forward to some of these fights on the card, and yeah, I have some plays in. I have money on Abdul at negative 250. Definitely going to take advantage of that. Um, yeah, um, I'm gonna probably have to play Piedroni or whatever at that plus 200 mark. You can't not. Really like her in that spot. Yeah. All right, guys. Catch you next time. I'll have that USC video up for you by what time is it? Maybe tonight, if not tomorrow. All right, guys. Love you. See you next time.